choice. Rethink.
Your life, your choice.
Rethink.
Rethink.
Rethink. Your life, your choice.
Rethink.
Your life.
Rethink.
Your choice.
Rethink.
Rethink. Your life, your choice.
Rethink.
Rethink.
Your life.
Your choice.
Rethink.
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 Your life, your choice. Winnebago's Healthy Living Partnership.
Hello everyone, welcome to Rethink, Your Life, Your Choice. We bring community leaders, advocates, and Winnebago County residents like you together to work on some of the most important health and prevention issues we are facing every day. I'm your host, Emily Deeringer. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to transform Winnebago County by implementing solutions that make a difference in our community's health, where our residents live, work, play, pray, and learn. Our first guest today is Mike Kading. He's the director of the Town of Menasha Park and Recreation Department by day, and by night, or on the side, or during the middle of the day. He's the chair of the Rethink Drive Your Bike work group. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
You're welcome, Emily. Thanks.
So tell me a little bit about Town of Menasha Park and Recs, and just Park and Recs in general. I know there's a lot of people out there that might not know a whole lot about what Park and Recs departments do and what you're all in charge of, things like that.
Oh, great. Thanks. Overall, we see the 284-acre park system. We have year-round recreation opportunities with a recreation supervisor who oversees all of those programs. We oversee 19 miles of off-road transportation corridor, or i.e. trails, as most people refer to them. And we just take care of, we're the general stewards that take care of the park system.
So you cut grass and...
I don't personally cut grass, but I oversee the folks that cut the grass. We maintain the playgrounds. We maintain them in a safe operating order. We have year-round facilities, ice rinks, sledding hills, and those types of facilities that we take care of as well.
So a lot more than what people probably think of in general when they think of Park and Rec Department.
Most people just think of mowing the grass, but we do a lot more than mow the grass, trim the trees, and take care of business. So
excellent. So those trails you were talking about kind of roll, no pun intended, right into a lot of what Rethink's work is in the community, especially related to increasing opportunities to be physically active. And I know you're a really physically active guy. So can you tell me a little bit about why you got involved with Rethink from a personal and or professional background?
Well, certainly. I was asked several years ago to get involved in the Active Communities group. And the idea was, how do we link everybody together, keep everybody healthy and active, and thinking that way? I think it's very hard when we don't interconnect our trails and our systems and our folks together. But by doing that, then we create this cohesive group that encourages folks to live a healthy, active lifestyle.
So and that kind of leads in a little bit to the new Drive Your Bike campaign that Rethink is kind of in charge of leading or whatever. So can you explain a little bit about the Drive Your Bike campaign? I know that was something that kind of was bridging north and south and east and west and lots of different people together. So what's this Drive Your Bike campaign?
Well, the Drive Your Bike campaign really comes out of the fact that we used to think about riding our bikes. So you just get on your bike and you ride. As a kid, we loved to go out and just pedal around the block or pedal to the park, but we really didn't think about what we were doing. We're actually trying to bring an awareness to the fact that folks can drive your bike. And what we mean by driving your bike is treating it like a vehicle of the roadway. And in the state of Wisconsin, it is actually recognized as a vehicle that is permitted on the roadways. And therefore, we're asking folks to obey the rules, to know the rules, obey them, to get on their bikes, to rethink that trip down to the hardware store, to the grocery store. If it's possible, get on your bike and drive it. Take it places for transportation, take it for recreation, but use your bike in a more efficient and cost-effective manner.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be for just a Saturday afternoon riding around. It can actually be a vehicle to transport you from A to B.
Well, certainly. I think a lot of times when people think about long-term biking, they think of the lycra-clad sports athlete who's out there on a Saturday morning putting in 2 hours of riding, which is great, and we're not against that. However, how can you use your bike on a daily basis? That's more about what the Drive Your Bike campaign is about. Getting on, rethinking what you're doing with your bike, or rethinking your transportation options.
Oh, that's great. Can we quote that? Can we
You
have a little
can.
snippet of that later?
Rethink your transportation options.
That's
I like
awesome.
that. Let's go with it.
So
There's another campaign
Hey!
next year.
So there was a kickoff event very recently for the Drive Your Bike campaign. So can you tell us a little bit about what happened at the Leech?
Yeah, on May 4th, Saturday, we hosted a kickoff campaign for the Drive Your Bike campaign. It was also to highlight the National Bike Challenge as well, to get people plugged into other opportunities. But our event was held at the Leech, and this was specifically for the Oshkosh area folks to, again, to encourage them, to educate them, and give them options for their transportation opportunities. It was a cold, chilly day, and we thank the 50 or so folks that came out and joined us. We had 3 different routes: a family-friendly route, a moderate transportation route, and a little bit more aggressive 10-mile transportation route. And what we did, it was an open course. Folks were encouraged to ride right on the roads. We had great volunteer efforts that helped us get through town and navigate in a very positive, efficient manner.
Excellent. So we're just looking at some of the pictures of the riders, and everyone looks like they had a really good time. I know you commented at the end of the route, or after everyone got back, saying the camaraderie between all the riders was really, really great.
I think that was one of the most encouraging things. We had hopes and dreams of thousands of people showing up, but again, we had about 50 people show up that day. But what was most exciting was the fact that we were networking. People were talking and communicating and becoming part of a smaller community of bicycle riders and supporters to encourage each other on a daily basis to get out there and drive your bike.
That's awesome. So, and this was just a one-day event, kind of a kickoff for the whole campaign, which runs through the end of September. So we were hoping to encourage people to ride more than just Saturday, May 4th. So can you explain a little bit about what were some of those things, or are some of those things that maybe people are out there today that are saying, hey, I could ride my bike or drive my bike somewhere more than just one day?
Well, certainly, and I think you're going to be talking about it a little bit later, but there's a Safe Routes to School program. How can we get kids, rather than getting dropped off right at school, how can you get from your house to school safely and back via bicycle or pedestrian activities? There's the National Bike Challenge, which was actually started right here in the Fox Valley about 3-4 years ago by Kimberly Clark as just an internal competition amongst a group of bike riders and how they could actually challenge each other to ride more throughout the summer months. But that has now gone nationwide with, I think the last time I saw, there are over 3 million miles, and I think it's 20,000 riders have already signed up for this year's event. And I would encourage anybody, go to the National Bike Challenge, Google it, look it up on the website, become a partner in that opportunity, become one of those riders, logging your miles day in and day out. In addition to that, there's also the Fox Cities Challenge, which includes the Fox Valley area, Appleton, Menasha, Neenah, but also the Oshkosh area, where we're challenging each other. Again, let's get a little competition to see who can ride the most miles.
Because we don't like to do that around this area, not at all, right?
A little competition between the communities is a good thing. It's healthy. But it's also it's about the camaraderie, bringing folks together who, today are enjoying bicycle riding, but how do we bring others along for the ride?
Yeah. So, and what were some of the event things that actually were that kick off that day? That kind of helped people prepare to be riding throughout the rest of the summer. I know Wheel and Sprocket was there doing bicycle checks along with the Amro Bike Shop. Can you explain a little bit about who those guys are and some of the other plugged-in opportunities that were there?
Well, certainly. I think Amro's a great community that we need to highlight, and the school activities they got going there. Joel Horvath has done an excellent job encouraging the students to become involved in the bicycling efforts. He has his own bike shop, and the students come in and they fix bikes. But they came out that day in cooperation with Wheel and Sprocket, fixed up bikes, tuned them up, and got them ready for today's ride, or that day's ride, but throughout the summer. A great highlight, and I know the police department, the Oshkosh City of Oshkosh Police Department, was very happy with the number of bikes that got registered and licensed. And so that was a great opportunity for them as well. We also had, need to thank the Oshkosh Cycling Club. They not only came out, had a booth, and are encouraging membership in their organization, but also they provided some of the support riders and lead riders throughout the routes.
And I also want to thank some of our ReThink staff and other ReThink Coalition members for helping with helmet fittings and coordinating volunteers and things like that. Safe Routes to School, we'll be talking to them a little bit later, was also there. And also Go Transit was there with the bike rack on front of all the buses, which was something I was really excited about because I had never practiced putting my bike on a bus before, and it sounds kind of silly that I shouldn't have to practice putting my bike, but I wanted to try it out. So they were there and giving demos and stuff, so that was actually really, really cool. So
Well, I think the idea behind that was, how do we encourage people to use your bike, drive your bike, but also use the alternate transportation system that's out there to get you extended or further out or interconnected within the community.
excellent. So if it sounds really easy for some people like you to take your bike to work and from work and things like that, for someone that has a really long commute, it might be challenging. So if you could give, in your experience, 2 sentences about what would, how is it easy? Can you do this? Is this possible? Kind of like be a cheerleader.
2 sentences probably can't do
Well,
that.
no.
But let me just say this. I think the most important thing is take the first ride. You got to get on the bike. You got to take the first ride. That takes the scariness. It takes the apprehension away from it. But you get on the bike and take the first ride. If that's on a Saturday afternoon or a Saturday morning when it's a little bit lighter traffic, do it. Some people like to take their clothes to work on the weekend so they aren't transporting their clothes. Me personally, I transport my clothes and my food and my water bottles every day. I put them in my panniers, and I bike the 5 miles to and from work every day. It's just the way I found it easy. I was challenged about 3 years ago to go all winter, and so now I'm a year-round commuter. I just wear my snow boots, I wear heavy-duty gloves, I get my thick hat on, and I still wear my helmet over the top because I think it's very important to be safe out there.
Excellent. So speaking of safety, I know we have certain laws in Wisconsin about safety, and then certain, kind of like you were saying, rules of the road. I think we have a graphic for the screen of the turn signals. So if you want to just quick go through those for everyone. That's kind of one of the big ones because we don't have blinkers on our bikes.
Right. Well, certainly, and I will encourage, do use bicycle lights. I mean, if you are riding at night, make sure you do have your lights, the white light in front and the red light in the back, or in reflectors. But do that. You have the right turn, you have the traditional right turn where you're lifting up your right arm. But what I love about the new law that just came out in the last year or two is they're allowing someone to point with the right hand. And actually, it allows you to point the direction you're going. And I think it's much more effective for drivers because not everybody remembers what that is about. And then opposite is taking your left hand, pointing it straight out, and you're pointing the direction that you want to go. The stops is always been there. I think that's more important when you're doing a group ride or amongst a bunch of riders together as you're coming up to a stop sign or stoplight. But I would encourage folks to know the rules of the road. You are a vehicle. Treat yourself like a vehicle and follow the stop lights and the stop signs, and do come to a stop. And do give way when it's the vehicle's right to go, but then also be confident when it's your right to go as well.
Absolutely. And there are more tips and a brochure on our website on the Drive Your Bike page at rethinkwinnebago.org. You can just search under our campaigns and click Drive Your Bike, and you can download that brochure that has all of those safety tips and kind of more cheerleading kind of tips on how you can actually take your bike to work or as a piece of transportation. So I thank you, Mike, for being here today. If you want to take the Drive Your Bike pledge, I know you have and several of us rethinkers have, but if you're out there and want to take the Drive Your Bike pledge, you can go to bit.ly/DYB pledge. That is also up on our website. Again, that's bit.ly/capital DYB and then little lowercase pledge, and that'll take you to the pledge where you can say, I'm going to ride my bike 2 times a week, and I'm going to tell a friend, or why do you ride your bike, and then kind of give us some feedback for that. So again, thank you, Mike, for being here and sharing all of your information about driving your bike.
You're welcome.
All
Thanks,
right,
Emily.
you're welcome. So switching gears, we're going to take a look at a project we worked with the Oshkosh Area School District on called Active Schools. We've been working on that for 2 years. We're hoping it's growing. It's growing every year, and we're hoping that it's going to continue to be a very successful thing to instill physical activity in the lives of our young people in Oshkosh. So enjoy.